notice prominently on the bulletin board in the office of the Board of Education, 65 McCampbell Road, Holmdel, New Jersey, the district's website, and sent to the 4 district schools. The mailing and/or hand delivery of said notice to the designated newspapers, Asbury Park Press, Independent, the PLG, PSG, PSA, PTSO, SAB presidents, and student representatives to the board, and filing with the clerk of the Holmdel Township Police Headquarters, and Public Library. Meetings of the board are open to the public, and all members of the community should feel free to participate. There will be 2 opportunities for the public to speak. The first is at the beginning of the meeting for agenda items only, and the second is at the end of the meeting for other items. Any individual desiring to speak shall give his or her name, address, and the group, if any, that is represented. The presentation shall be as brief as possible, but no more than 3 minutes per individual. There are certain matters that may be brought before the board that cannot be immediately addressed in public. Such matters may be referred by the president to the board committee and/or the superintendent for consideration and/or resolution. The board vests in its president or other presiding officer authority to terminate the remarks of any individual if she deems it in the best interest of those present to do so. May I have a roll call, please?
Ms. Flynn.
Here.
Mrs. Briamonte.
Here.
Mr. Sokol is absent. Mrs. Liu.
Here.
Mr. Reddy.
Here.
Mrs. Amarado.
Here.
Mrs. Collins.
Here.
Mr. Wall is absent. Mr. Foster.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. At this time, we will do the flag salute, but prior to our flag salute, I would ask everyone to take a moment of silence to remember one of our students who just passed away last week. She was a graduate of Holmdel High School of just a few years ago. Her name is Mary O'Malley Wheeler. So please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this point, we don't have any public hearings. Report of the student representatives.
Hi everyone. Although there are still deadlines to come for college applications, we do want to congratulate those seniors who have already received great news. The HTG will present their fall play, Acting Can Be Murder, this Friday and Saturday at 7:30 p.m. Student tickets are only $5, a night of laughs and chills guaranteed for all. We also want to send our congratulations to the girls cross country team as they won the NJSIAA Group 2 championship. It is the first group championship in 35 years. The girls advanced to the Meet of Champions on Saturday, November 23rd at Holmdel Park. Powder Puff is coming on November 26th. Practices have started and the girls are hard at work, and everyone is looking forward to a fun night of friendly competition.
HHS's academic team recently performed very well at the Northern New Jersey Regional History Bowl tournament at Seton Hall University. At the first history competition of the season, Holmdel's academic team qualified to compete at both the state and national championships. Holmdel finished tied for 3rd place as a semifinalist, and team captain Alan Wu personally scored 9th place out of over 40 contestants in the individual History B competition. Congratulations to senior Paul De Silva. His design was selected by the Holmdel Creative Arts Association and will be featured as the cover for all of the visual and performing art productions in the district of this school year.
Thank you so much. Hannah, do you know what time the cross-country race is for our team?
I'm not sure about that.
Okay. I think 11? Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Loughran. Yeah, I would encourage everyone, if you could, to go there. I mean, I usually attend the Meet of Champions, not because I wish I could run that much. I aspire to run anywhere as close as they can, but it's an inspiring race to always go to, and it's really well attended. The Meet of Champions, this one's a little quicker. So 11 o'clock, that's a good start. So if you can, come out and cheer on our Holmdel players, because they did an excellent job this year. And they're pretty, I'm sure, I don't want to jinx them, but everything will be great. So come out and cheer them on. Dr. McGarry, you're up.
Sure. Good evening, everyone. I want to start off my report tonight by wishing everyone a happy American Education Week. This year marks the 98th anniversary of this national celebration of public education, a week during which our nation honors individuals who are making a difference in ensuring every child receives a quality education. As a product of public schools myself and as a public school educator, this annual celebration is important to me. According to the president of the National Education Association, Lily Garcia, she said, quote, "American Education Week serves as a tribute to the team of people who work with our students, everyone from the classroom teacher and the bus driver to the cafeteria worker and the administrative staff, plus countless others." I think she meant the boards of education. In this spirit, I wanted to start off my report by acknowledging all staff and members of the Board of Education of the Holmdel Township Schools for their innovative and tireless support of excellence for all children. As I was searching for an inspirational quote about the importance of public education for tonight's report, there was one that struck a chord with me as the person who reports monthly to the Board of Education about investigations of bias-based harassment, intimidation, and bullying. It's a quote from Helen Keller, who once said, quote, "The highest result of education is tolerance. The highest result of education is tolerance." While I remain concerned about what I read via HIB investigations, and though we are exploring how increasing our efforts to address social and emotional learning and character development will positively impact this area, I am asking that we all take action to address and educate children and young people about the dangers of bias in its many forms, including bullying, so that together we lead all students to the highest result of education, as Helen Keller has suggested. With that said, I'm inspired by what I've already seen as a result of one marking period of a new required course for 8th graders entitled Standing Up to Intolerance. One mom recently reflected on how she believed that through this course, her daughter's social conscience had been stimulated and how this was a pleasure for her to see. I am grateful to all those who had a role in creating this course, including those on the board, in our C&I committee, and especially Mr. Sokol, who wasn't on the C&I committee, but took a special interest in the course. I'd like to thank them for their input into the content, and to Mrs. Cremoli for her expert curriculum writing and delivery of that curriculum each day in the classroom. This course is another great example of us working towards our collective calling, as stated in our mission, to create responsible and resourceful citizens. Speaking of social and emotional learning, our village school students and staff will soon be participating in the I Am Enough campaign. This initiative, inspired by the children's book I Am Enough by Grace Byers and led by village school teacher Mrs. Saltzman, supports SEL and Village's well-established bucket-filling efforts by reminding students that each of them is, quote, good enough, smart enough, and funny enough, just as they are. By reinforcing this simple message school-wide, we hope to continually promote positive self-esteem and self-acceptance in all students. Meanwhile, our second grade students are vigorously practicing for our winter show coming up on December 11th and 12th. Early thanks to Mrs. Donovan and Ms. Nigro as they prepare our second graders for what will surely be a fantastic show. In the season of giving thanks, we want to give a special thanks to the Village PSA for a successful start to their Giving Tree campaign, a huge annual village tradition of giving to others less fortunate than ourselves. But before we get too focused on the holidays ahead of us, I wanted to share news of the annual Veterans Day celebration held here at Indian Hill last week. 25 local veterans, including one sitting here at the dais, I believe, from various branches of the service and time periods came to share their experiences and field questions from students. The whole school was honored to meet these local heroes, hear their stories, and see the various artifacts that they shared with us. Special thanks to the PLG for providing a wonderful breakfast for our guests. Later that night at Indian Hill, and you can still see the remnants of it on our stage, the students presented the Enchanted Bookshop as this year's school play. A packed Indian Hill auditorium enjoyed the wonderful performances by our students. Congratulations to all of them involved, and thank you to for the direction provided by advisors Ms. Robin Watts and Ms. Kathleen George. The day after was a busy week at Indian Hill. The day after, Indian Hill School kicked off a kindness campaign with a visit from acclaimed presenter Brian Williams. Not the Brian Williams you're thinking of from the news, but a different Brian Williams. Mr. Williams has traveled the world sharing his message of community and helped our students kick off a plan to set new heights in being kind and compassionate to one another. Thank you to the PLG and to Counselor Mrs. Jennings for all of their help in securing Mr. Williams and providing our students with this worthwhile experience. In other kindness news, Indian Hill School is in the midst of a canned goods drive for the Bridges organization. Our students have brought in an overwhelming number of donations. I believe at last count it was well over 300. Kudos to the Indian Hill School Student Council and their advisor, Mrs. McCarthy, for all their efforts in coordinating this drive. The SAT School is also in the giving spirit, recently completing a collection for blessing bags to be distributed to needy families and moving on to a turkey collection for Thanksgiving before sponsoring additional holiday drives that will also benefit the local Bridges program. Thank you to the SATS PSG for sponsoring its annual fall clothing drive, also benefiting needy families in the area. In other news from SATS students participated earlier this week in the second of a series of outreach meetings with high school students as part of the Peer Leader program. The Holmdel High School peer leaders have been successfully implementing new team and relationship building lesson plans infused with social and emotional learning as well as character education that SATS students seem to really enjoy. The SATS Math Club is currently off to a strong start in its season, participating in both New Jersey Math League and CBA Math League competitions, as well as participating in the very rigorous AMC 8 math contests. Rehearsals are underway for the SATS winter musical, Annie Jr. We're all looking forward to a fantastic show in January. Congratulations to the students in both Dr. DeVivo's theater classes and Miss O'Hara's dance class for their recent end of marking period public performances. They were outstanding. I can't imagine what they're going to be like once we open a new dance and theater room that's part of the Holmdel 2020 initiative, soon coming to SAT School. Congratulations also to Dr. Riso and Ms. Nigro's music students who will be featured in the near future on News 12 New Jersey for an interdisciplinary mindfulness project they completed that is benefiting students in all of our schools. After a busy week with their younger peers, the high school peer leaders are currently preparing for the second Hello Hornets breakfast, a new initiative promoting social inclusion by welcoming our newest Hornets, our transfer students, to the high school. The high school administration also asked that I thank the PTSO for helping to coordinate volunteers for many of our recent athletics events. This has been a huge help and we're looking forward to their continued assistance as we prepare for our annual Powder Puff game being played Tuesday, November 26th at 6 p.m. on Rogie Field. Hannah, are you on the team?
No, I can't. I have swim practice, but yeah.
Sorry. But you're rooting for the seniors, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
I want to give a special thanks to all of our district staff, especially the administrators, teachers, secretaries, and custodians in all the schools that rolled up their sleeves and contribute to the preparation efforts for our NJ CUSAC buildings walkthrough that took place just yesterday. We are well on our way to retaining our high-performing school district status. Finally, along with several members of the administrative team, I had the pleasure of recognizing two tremendous educators on the eve of American Education Week. Congratulations to Ms. Nicole Fioretti and Ms. Jennifer Flynn for their recognition by the state of New Jersey as exemplary educators for 2019 at the secondary level. This is a new award initiated last year by the New Jersey Department of Education, which alternates on an annual basis between elementary and secondary levels each year. Ms. Fioretti and Ms. Flynn were recognized for their strong content knowledge and skills, inspiring presence, and positive impact upon students, colleagues, and the school community. I'm sure the board would welcome the opportunity to recognize these two exemplary educators at a future meeting. Finally, on behalf of the district administration and staff, we want to extend warm wishes for a happy Thanksgiving to all. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have an enrollment report to share with you as well. At Village Elementary School, 782 students. Indian Hill School, 747. SAT School, 529. And Holmdel High School, 940. We increased by 9 students this month for a grand total of 2,998. And I also have an HIV report to share with you. Since our last meeting, the period between October 30th and November 20th, we had 0 cases of HIV at the high school, 3 cases investigated at William R. Satt School, all 3 found to be substantiated, 0 cases at Indian Hill, and 0 cases at Village School.
Thank you so much. Can I have a show of hands to accept the superintendent's report? And also, a show of hands could accept the student representative's report. Thank you, everyone. Yes, thank you. Now we're up to committee reports. Yes, Mrs. Amrati.
Curriculum and Instruction Special Services met on November 13th at 3:15. We have some recommendations for approval from the superintendent, approval of out-of-district travel, district personnel, approval of student field trips, approval of new program, which is playwriting. It examines the structure of theatrical storytelling through the reading and writing of dramatic works. Students will write, revise, and workshop an original play that they write individually. That's a high school course. Approval of assessment writing and revisions. Staff members are to revise the benchmark assessments to align with the new standards. Approval of home instruction, home bedside instruction services, and approval of commission for the blind and visually impaired services. Items to discuss under new business. We discussed the learning coaches and ACES program. While the ACES program still remains a standard course in the program of studies under educational support services, it is not currently active. Learning coaches are funded through title money and provided to students through grades 7 through 12 if referred by NRS. Learning coaches are successful at the junior high school level, but administration is looking to revise in the high school due to lack of attendance. Options are being explored on how to make learning coaches a more viable support service for our high school students and/or additional alternative programs. We also discussed internships, the internships mentoring survey for the class of 2021. We did table this discussion because we ran out of time for the December meeting. However, the committee will be provided with the survey results prior to that committee meeting in order to prepare for the discussion. The NJSLA science data update. This data, as well as peer district data, is still not available. While we have not yet received the scores for the state or district, we appreciate that the proficiency rates may as much as double from what they previously were. As such, districts across the state, including Holmdel, will see a significant decrease in overall proficiency. Once the administration receives the scores this winter, we will report them out. Special Education Independent Audit, a proposal to do an assessment in special education in order to best optimize our services and identify areas of improvement. Under old business, we spoke about a response to the committee from the data consultant from the August meeting and our next steps. The committee has asked if we could continue our commitment on meaningful data analysis by focusing on the data that is used at the high school level for assessment. We requested meeting with the department administrators so we can better understand their use of data and perhaps develop a rubric to help evaluate the importance of data that is requested from the board and therefore given as a presentation. Parent-teacher conferences, the committee discussed the issues of scheduling parent-teacher conferences. Many parents are closed out of appointments and are not able to meet with their children's teachers. Administration replied that they have been seeking ways to remedy the problem, but have not found any possible solutions as of yet. Administration encourages parents and teachers to reach out whenever necessary regarding their child or students and not just during conference time. Items for the good of the order, none. Our next meeting date is set for December 12th at 3:30.
Thank you. Any questions?
I have one. Lori, did you guys on the internships, obviously waiting for the feedback for the survey results, which should be interesting. Have there been any conversation about commitments by companies, details, or, like?
So
what
that
the
was,
plans will be?
Dr. Sealy did have a presentation ready, but
Okay.
time constraints, we didn't get to it, so they
Next
will
month.
be done at the December meeting. She did have the results for us, but once again, they'll be shared with us before the committee meeting in December we'll be prepared for it so that if we have questions, we can bring them quickly to the table. And then I know Dr. Sealy has a presentation on all of that for us.
I guess
I'm
the
actually
goals
gonna,
for.
I'm going to share that out with you this weekend in my weekend update.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
I have one question. On the special ed audit report, when do we anticipate receiving feedback on that?
So the organization that that I'm going to propose to do it, we just got their proposal on Monday, I believe. They anticipate taking 3 months to collect data and can start as soon as we approve them as a vendor.
Okay, so we'll have something in time for planning, obviously, for next
yeah.
school year. That's excellent. All right, who's next? Mrs. Amorati, you're up again.
People are gonna just get tired of hearing me speak. Okay. BG&S met on, Buildings, Grounds, and Safety met on November 13th at 4:30 p.m. We have updates on the Holmdel 2020 referendum. Under the field reconstruction at Satz High School, all items on the punch list have been completed and closeout documents have been requested. The interior renovations and exterior site renovations for Village and Indian Hill. At both Village and Indian Hill Elementary Schools, all work is completed with the following notations. The as-built survey conducted by M&M was forwarded to Edwards Engineering for their review and response. The installation of the mechanical units for both Village, STEM, and SGI have been installed. The punch list has been completed. All closeout documents have been requested of M&M. The exterior site additions and renovations and interior alterations at SATS and the high school. At SATS, the locker rooms, the work inside the locker rooms and bathrooms have been completed. The MAUs, the makeup air units, 1 and 2 have been installed. The final sections of ductwork are being connected and programming of the units is scheduled for this week. A temporary certificate of occupancy has been issued by the town. In the cafeteria, the terrazzo flooring has been completed. The new lighting fixtures for the new space will be installed this week. In music rooms 204 and 205, the inspections for rough electric and framing have been completed. The installation of the gypsum board will begin this week. The completion of the 2 music rooms for occupancy is scheduled to be done before Thanksgiving. In the link, the footings at the link have been completed as well as masonry foundation walls. The underground sanitary piping has been installed. The structural steel is expected in approximately 2 weeks. The new entrance, the footings at the new SATS entrance have been completed and the masonry foundation walls have commenced. At the high school, the engineering wing, the work within the engineering wing is complete and a punch list has been generated. The rooftop units, 3 and 4 for this TV studio and the art room respectively have been installed. Final inspections by the town have been conducted and approved. The PE wing, the installation of the structural steel for the new PE wing began on Wednesday, November 6th and was completed on Friday of the same week. The metal roof decking is being installed this week. Up to this point, the successfully completed projects are land acquisition, Package D, the gym, HVACs at Village School, Indian Hill, and WR SATS. Package H at the high school, which was the roof. Package C, Rogie Field Stadium lighting replacement. And Package B, the interior door and hardware replacement. We had policy and regulation updates, mandated revisions, and revised policy language. Special Education Student Transportation Services bid number 20-06. Additional routes were required to address student needs and the applicable resolutions will be included on the November agenda for approval. Other matters pertaining to the committee discussed looking into optimal areas for an athletic, academic, and arts hall of fame, and Dr. McGarry has agreed to look into prime areas for possible placements. The date and time of our next meeting is December 11th at 5 p.m.
Thank you so much. Any questions? No comments? Any comments?
I do. So as we were forewarned by our architects that as we complete projects, we should expect to receive visitations from other school districts wanting to replicate in their schools what we have done here. We've been visited actually today by Rumson Fairhaven High School came to look at our engineering and communications wing, and they were quite impressed with what we have done. We also took the opportunity to show Dr. Richens, our county superintendent, the space yesterday, and he commented that he has seen nothing like that in any of the county's high schools, including the Monmouth County Vocational School District. So there's great things ahead for our students in that engineering and communications wing coming down. So get excited.
Yes, I was, today I had a business event and I did run into some other members of other boards of ed and their colleagues in my past. And they, I was telling them everything about the referendum and they were pretty impressed about, you know, that we're not just doing a referendum that's dealing with infrastructure, even though the boiler room and it's very exciting and the roofing work is excellent. But they were impressed that we were able to get so many other things done that's really going to transform the space and the educational offerings in this district. So I was talking about it earlier. So you probably, yes, in that group, I think we'll be asking for a visit at some point. Okay. You're up. Mrs. Briamonte. Sure.
Labor Negotiations and Personnel Committee met on November 13th. We discussed the approval agenda items for tonight's board meeting. They are agenda items 4 through 17. We also discussed policy, mandated policy updates, which is agenda item number 3. And our next meeting is December 12th at 6:30.
Thank you. We're good. No CR, no, okay. Thank you, everyone, and thank you, everyone, for taking the time to attend the board meeting, our committee meetings last week. I appreciate it. We are now up to questions or comments from the public on action items only. Seeing none, we'll move to the action items. Can I have a resolution for items number 1 through 30?
Motion.
Second.
Discussion.
Can you get a little, on number 7, the new course, is that for next, I'm guessing that's for next year? And what, I think it's pretty cool, like playwriting, what spawned that, or what, do a lot of districts have that? Is that a common thing?
So you'll recall that we hired our very first full-time theater arts teacher, Dr. James DeVivo, who has a doctorate from NYU in theater education, and he has seen this as a really great opportunity. His plan for the course is that the students would learn the skill of playwriting, but then their plays would actually, he would bring in sort of semi-professional or professional actors to actually perform the students' plays for them. And I think it's him talking with the students about sort of like their interests and responding to that. So we're really excited about that. And probably future courses in theater arts to come.
And he's taught the course before, so he's seen great success in the course, and he's bringing it to Holmdel now.
Anything else? Seeing none, can I have a roll call, please?
Ms. Flynn.
Yes.
Mrs. Briamonte.
Yes.
Mrs. Liu.
Abstain to item number 28, and yes to the rest.
Mr. Reddy.
Yes. Oh, wait, abstain 29, that's what I thought, I was looking for it.
Mrs. Amorati.
Yes.
Mrs. Collins.
Yes.
Mr. Foster.
Yes, and I just want to say good luck to Tim McDonald. He's a nice, polite young man. We've been involved with refereeing basketball, so I wish him best of luck, and go get him, Tim.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Any old business? Any new business? Okay, I just want to add one thing. just so you know, as we all know on our board, but for the public too, one of our board members is suffering from pancreatic cancer and is fighting the battle right now. And turns out tomorrow is Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Day. So I would like everyone to keep Mike in your thoughts. Spread the good word. There's a lot of good things going on, I think, with Mike. He's doing really well. I think even someone said he even looked better than he looked a few months ago before his diagnosis, and he does. So it's the wonder of medicine. And so please, we would ask everyone to keep Mike in your prayers and your thoughts. And again, look into, this month is Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Month. You're supposed to wear purple in honor of it. And again, tomorrow I think is the day that they're celebrating it globally. So I just wanted to share that with you all. No other new business or questions or comments from the public? Anyone from back behind there? No one, okay. At this point, we do not need to go into executive session, so can I have a motion to adjourn?
Move.
Second.
Can I have a show of hands? Thank you.